welcome to Jay's Reviews. Let me take you back on a journey to 1981 when arcades were all the rage. One title in particular, Centipede, just got a reboot in board game form. Game fact, did you know that the code designer and programmer for Centipede was a woman? She was one of the first women hired by Atari. Now that you have a little history about the game, let's get down to the table. Centipede by IDW Games is a 2 or 4 player game for ages 12 and up. Play time is about 30 to 40 minutes. 2-player setup. Place the game board between both players. Grab the mushroom meeples first out of the box. Each player takes turn placing 3 mushrooms in one column till all columns are done. You should have 3 mushrooms left over after this. Just place them to the side for now. Next, randomly pick who gets to play which team. We used a dice for this. Centipede player setup. Take out the centipede meeples and matching color cards. There is a set of green and a set of blue. There is also 1 creature speed card. When starting the game, you pick which spawn point you want to start from. Those are shown by the holes in the mushroom borders, here and here. Move the head of the centipede 6 spaces, then add the rest of the body. Shuffle the centipede cards and draw 3. You are now ready to play. Gnome player setup. Take out the gnome color of your choice, the dice pool card, dice, and the gnome control cards. Roll the dice and place them on the dice pool card. Lay out the gnome control cards in front of you face up. Last, place the gnome anywhere on the gnome movement area. You are now ready to start. How to play. Gnome starts. At the start of a gnome's turn, if there is only 1 dice in the dice pool, they re-roll all dice. Next, use 1 dice from the dice pool. How to read the dice. The number on the dice is how much to move the gnome, left or right. The star is a shoot action. A standing rectangle is used to recharge 1 gnome control card of your choice. At any time on the gnome's turn, they can use any number of gnome control cards. Gnome control cards. You have 4 options to use. Wrist control, which refreshes dice pool. Trigger finger lets you use a shoot action, slam the ball, move 1 space, left or right. Glitch, remove or place 1 mushroom. Example turn. I choose to use this dice, and also my trigger finger. Note, when you move, you can only move left or right completely. If your movement makes you hit the edge of the board, your movement stops, but on your next turn, you must move away from the edge. Another thing to note is gnome control cards can be activated anytime during your turn, which means you can interrupt your movement to shoot with a trigger finger, or if you are just 1 spot away from hitting the centipede and want to move 1 more and then shoot, you can add 1 more movement before your shoot action happens. When shooting, you must remember the following. When hitting a mushroom, remove it from the board. When hitting a flea or spider, remove the bug and replace it with a mushroom if you can. When hitting a centipede, remove the segment from the board and replace it with a mushroom. The segment after that part you just shot gets flipped and is now the head of a new centipede. Be careful. The smaller centipede, the faster it moves. Centipede's turn. Play a card from your hand. Move your bugs. Draw a card. Kinds of cards you have. Spawn bug. There are 3 kinds of bugs you can spawn. Flea. Flea moves 2 spaces in a straight line towards the gnome. It can also leave mushrooms behind it. Note that if the flea makes it to the gnome movement area and the gnome is under it, the gnome is killed and the game ends. If the flea makes it to the gnome area and the gnome is not under it, the flea will despawn at the end of the next centipede movement phase. Fleas will eat anything that gets in its way, including centipedes. Baby centipede. Spawn a 1-segment centipede from the spawn zone. Spider. Spiders may move up to 9 spaces vertically or diagonally. Spiders can't move through other bugs, but they do eat mushrooms that are in their way. If a spider lands in front of a gnome, they kill the gnome, ending the game. Centipede. Spawn a centipede with all remaining segments not in use. Then add this card under your side of the board to show that all bugs have a +1 to movement. Note, when a new centipede comes into play, it always moves 6 spaces. Mushroom. Add or remove mushroom anywhere on the board. Berserk. After movement phase, move your centipede 2 spaces closer to the gnome. Do not change the way the centipede is facing. Note, you cannot use this card to win the game. How to win. Gnome wins when all centipede segments have been removed from the board. Centipede wins when gnome is eaten by any bug. I personally love the art design of this game. It's really retro and brings you back to those arcade days. The meeples are exactly what you would think they would look like. It really brings the aesthetic of the game together. The setup and teardown of the game is fairly quick and simple, and everything seems to fit in nicely in the box. The game is in favor of the centipede winning, but as the gnome player, it forces you to strategize and to plan ahead to make sure that you've gotten everything you can possibly get out of a turn, and that's exactly what the arcade game would give you. It's high pressure, low rewards. But it's still a lot of fun. The only real downside we came across was the fact that some of the cards weren't very well defined. An example of this is the flea card. You wouldn't have known that the flea would disappear at the end of the next round if we hadn't looked it up already. The game is very challenging but very rewarding at the same time. I give this game J's seal of approval, and it will definitely be going into our retro corner that's slowly growing. I wonder if they're going to bring back any other Atari games. Wait, what?